All right. I'm Jeff Anderson. I am one of the lawyers standing with a very courageous survivor here, Patty Harner, and she has filed this suit last night here against the Protestant Episcopal Church in the Diocese of Los Angeles. That is the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles, because this offender, the offender that raped her, Paul, how do you pronounce it?
His name is Paul Kowalewski.
Paul Kowalewski is a former Catholic priest of the Diocese of Buffalo, New York. And when there, he not only raped her as a teenager, but we also know that he abused at least one other youth, and we suspect others. He was allowed to leave the Diocese of Buffalo by the Catholic bishop in Buffalo, New York, and ended up an Episcopal priest and allowed to be a priest in California and in a church as we speak. So Patty brought this suit to do what she can and what we can to alert the community of the danger this man poses, that he has violated her and at least one other child that we know of, and that he is now at the Church of St. Paul in the desert, ministering and allowed to minister by the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese as we speak. So we are here today, and Patricia brings this suit so that other kids are not hurt the way she was as a 19-year-old. Coming up here, Griselda, too. Patricia, please step forward and just give us your name and tell us why you brought this suit, because of what he did to you and what you learned about where he is right now.
If you could step up to the mic.
Hi, my name is Patty Patricia Harner. And I brought this suit because I have been living with this for so many years. The pain, the heartache, and I thought he was out of the priesthood and in any kind of ministry at all. And when I got the call and found out he wasn't, I couldn't bear to let another person go through the pain that I had been through for so long. And so I decided that it was time to step up and not allow him to hurt another person the way he hurt me and he hurt the other person that has already come forward, and many more that I honestly believe that he has hurt. And that's why I'm here.
Patricia, what you want then is to have him out of ministry at the Church of St. Paul in the desert right now, where we know he's doing services because he's on YouTube as having done service there last week and is in active ministry as we speak. You want him out now.
That's definitely what I want.
And you don't want what happened was done to you by him and what we know others to be done to anybody else.
It's too painful
Okay.
to have it done to anybody else, to allow it to be done to anybody else. It's not fun standing here. It's not something anybody wants to do, to have their faces. I'm not known. Nobody knew about this for all these years. No, I want him out. I don't want anybody else to stand here with nothing done about this.
Patricia, stand here with us, and Mike Reck, please stand up. You're one of the lawyers. This is our office here in Los Angeles, but you're also a lawyer actively involved in litigation against the Diocese of Buffalo and Bishop Malone for the dangerous practices employed there. And when Patricia called you, you did some investigation and learned this guy is still in ministry, right?
That's correct.
Tell us what we need to know about this.
So what happened yesterday is that this lawsuit was filed in the Los Angeles Superior Court. It alleges that the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles has intentionally and negligently hurt survivors of abuse, including Patty, for their dangerous practice of keeping a known perpetrator in ministry where he has continued and unfettered access to parishioners, to children, and to adults. This lawsuit seeks not money, but safety. The safety that comes when this bishop of the Episcopal Diocese here in Los Angeles takes action, the decisive action that this church could have and should have done when they received the knowledge that Paul Kowalewski abused a child. To this diocese, we demand, 1, remove him from ministry and make children safe. Tell the Episcopal Diocese of San Diego, where he has also worked, what his history is. And reach out to those survivors who he may have hurt and tell them to go to the police, because this behavior is a crime. Also, the unique history of this offender has crossed from the Atlantic coast to the Pacific coast. We've been involved and are involved on behalf of survivors of abuse in the Catholic Diocese of Buffalo, where Reverend Kowalewski started his career. Bishop Malone of the Diocese of Buffalo has released a list. Kowalewski's name was not included on that list. To the bishop, we demand, as the public and through this lawsuit, do the right thing. Tell the public what the Diocese of Buffalo knew and when they knew it about this offender.
Thank you, Mike Reck. Griselda Solis, you're a Spanish speaker, an advocate. Please step to the podium and summarize what has been said here and the action that has been taken by Patricia to protect kids is.
La señora Patricia Harner está aquí con nosotros ahora porque ella quiere alertar al público de lo que está pasando y lo que ha pasado con este pastor de las iglesias. Ella ha pasado por mucho daño y dolor y ella no quiere que otras personas pasen por lo mismo. Ella está aquí como sobreviviente para alertar al público, para que sepan que alguien está afuera dañando a mucha gente. Nuestra oficina está aquí para alertar al público y para demostrar el daño que este pastor ha hecho en todas las iglesias y prevenir que siga pasando ese mismo daño con otros niños y otras personas.
Thank you, Griselda. Mike, step back up, and I do want to say before there's questions that Patricia, thank you for standing up today to expose this Episcopal priest, former Roman Catholic priest that has been given cover for so long. Because if you do, because you have, other kids can be protected the way you weren't as a youth.
Exactly.
And that's what you want. With that, are there any questions?
Patricia, when did this incident happen between you and Reverend back in New York? What year?
If you could come to the mic, please.
I was 19.
In the early 1970s,
Yes,
1971.
yes.
When did this happen to you? Or was there any effort by you to go to police, to go to anyone, tell them what had happened?
I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed and full of guilt, and my family was so Catholic. I didn't know what to do. I didn't say anything to anybody until 2 years ago when I told my husband. I kept it to myself.
Mr. Wright, maybe you can elucidate a little on this. How long do we think Kowalewski operated in, Buffalo Archdiocese there before he came out to the West Coast? Was there knowledge in Buffalo that there were allegations against him? That anyone go to the police? Was this ever criminally investigated as far as we know?
Sure. So the question was essentially, what did the Diocese of Buffalo know? And when did Reverend Kowalewski serve there? He was ordained in 1973. Prior to that, he worked as a seminarian and as a deacon at St. Amelia's Parish in the diocese, the Catholic Diocese of Buffalo. After his ordination in 1973, he moved around to several locations in Buffalo. According to our research, because the Diocese of Buffalo has not disclosed this information, according to what we have discovered, Kowalewski ceases to appear as a Catholic priest in about 1977. So that means we know he was operating between at least 1971 until 1977 in the Diocese of Buffalo. After that, he then disappears, and he reappears several years later in upstate New York, first for a short time with a different ministry, and then he's accepted as an Episcopal priest, where he functions throughout upstate New York, in Syracuse. And at one point, we discovered that he was actually nominated and being considered to become the Episcopal Bishop of Syracuse. And media reports from that time period state that he voluntarily removed his own name from consideration for that position. After that, he appears in Los Angeles, where he worked in the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles.
From when to when?
Well, through present day. He first arrives here in about 1990. We haven't seen the exact year because the diocese hasn't disclosed that yet.
Did anybody in the Catholic Archdiocese back in Buffalo put any kind of record down saying there were problems, there were issues involving this guy?
This lawsuit specifically alleges that the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles had reason to know that this offender acted out against children in the Diocese of Buffalo. We represent one other survivor who was a child who alleges abuse by the same offender. That lawsuit will be filed under the New York Child Victims Act next month. The rest of the information remains private for the protection of those survivors.
Your client right now is merely asking that this man basically be taken out of the ministry at all. The Episcopal Archdiocese should basically say, you're gone, that's it, never again. Is there anything and any possibility of any kind of criminal prosecution? Have you talked to either the LA County District Attorney, or have you gone to the California Attorney General's office with this information?
We don't know what the criminal prosecution and the criminal possibilities are, because that's up to the local law enforcement and to the attorneys general. We know that they've been made aware of that fact. Whether the Episcopal Diocese here in Los Angeles is aware of anything that happened here in California, we do not know. Patty's abuse and assault occurred in New York, so that's something that would have to be taken up there.
And so I think to summarize this, Patty, you bring this suit to force the bishop here to remove him and to protect other kids. It doesn't seek, nor do you want money damages to come from this, but you want other kids to be protected here in California and from this known offender. Is that right?
Yes,
Thank you,
exactly.
Patricia.
Is there any possibility, given his actions here in Palm Springs, have there been any allegations that you've been able to find, or the local jurisdiction in Palm Springs or in Los Angeles was ever made aware of any problems that this guy had?
The question is, do local authorities have knowledge that this individual is an offender? The answer to that is yes. That is what this lawsuit alleges, that this Episcopal Diocese here in Los Angeles is aware of his history before he came here.
Anything during the time he is here, anything contemporaneous?
The question is, essentially, did this offender abuse children during his time in Los Angeles? And the answer is, we don't know, because this Episcopal Diocese has not told us and has not disclosed to the public. We do not know of those offenders, of those victims. We know of multiple victims from New York. Whether that happened here and whether that public safety need has been addressed, we don't know.
Were there any victims in Syracuse?
We don't know.
So are you actively looking for people who might have been abused by him either in New York or California?
Anyone who survived abuse by this offender should absolutely contact law enforcement, should come forward, and they should know they are not alone. They did nothing wrong, and this was not their fault. There were responsible adults who could have and should have protected them.
You filed a suit. Has there been any kind of formal communication between your firm and the Episcopal Diocese of Los Angeles at all about this? Have they, or are we just now starting the process of discovery?
We are just starting the process. The lawsuit was filed late yesterday and accepted by the court yesterday evening. We have not had communication with them yet. Thank you. Thank you. Proud. Thank you. Thank you.